it a cheeky SCB heading towards the other side of the map?
It's at least one heading over there. It is just one on the map. And I mean, that is about as close as you can get. I mean, no Marauders. But if that Zealot goes down the ramp to deal with that Engineering Bay, which it exactly is doing, and now this Reaper's here, this is going to start being a nuisance already.
Yeah, that's the first probe going down immediately, and that's not exactly what you're looking for, because it's going to be so hard not to lose another one before that Stalker is out. Classic is doing his best, but a lot of these probes are going to be low on HP. I do love how quickly he pulls the probes that are being targeted. Once they take a single shot, he made a little mistake there. He should have sent that one back, so he will end up losing a second probe, but that's still pretty acceptable against the barracks. That's this close towards your main. It almost feels that Classic just wants to go for some weird 3-gate, 4-gate aggression, and that means that this is probably going to be a short and very explosive game, Ben. This 3-gate opening is not going to work out, and even though the numbers may look even, Classic is in serious trouble.
And look, he's got so much gas, he's not mining the gas anymore, basically. It's just one probe on each, so absolutely not getting to play his game here. And it's like, oh no, you've got a medevac over here, can't mine from the main base anymore. I mean, sacrificing a probe is probably the best thing that he can do here, and Cure, he's not going to let him have it that easily. And right now, there is an army out on the map for Classic that can't really do anything here, Kev.
Nope, it really cannot accomplish a single thing on the other side of the map. The only thing it can hope for is to delay that command center for a while. I really wonder though, where does Classic take this? He's still got no tech, no Robo, no Stargate, no Twilight. What do you do? What are his options? He's going to warp in 3 in depths. Maybe hoping that eventually the depots are lowered, he can get in there, but Classic needs to do something that's going to make his Protoss army good eventually, because we've got Stim on the way. The first tank is about to be out as well. The second tank even, excuse me. There's a Raven. Classic's army at this point is incredibly underwhelming.
Incredibly. Oh, I love the focus fire with those probes. That was very quick reacting by Classic. And maybe Cure could have planted it a little bit differently, got a bit cocky with that one. But honestly, Classic is in crisis mode right now. He is just hoping for Cure to make the wrong move. Moving down this ramp might be the start of something happening for him, though.
There is a tank on the high ground getting a couple of shots off. Other turret is going to soak up some of these shots, and Classic is really going for it. And the adepts are quite tanky. Can he get one of these tanks? Can he get both tanks? That would be insane. He gets the one that was well protected. The other one, though, is safe, because at this point Classic lost high ground vision, so he didn't see that one anymore. But this is a start, right? Because the longer this lingers on, the more it's going to favor Classic, because Classic is trying to go up to 3 bases, and he did have Twilight Council finishing up, and he's actually going for a charge first. He seems very concerned about the firepower of the Terran army, and he almost said, like, I think a couple Blink Stalkers is simply not going to be good enough for me, so it's charge first, and that's something that he could perhaps be aggressive with as well. This is a wild game. It really feels that we are unleashed and we forgot about everything we normally do in a Starcraft 2 game, and it's just about one thing, making it messy, dirty, and somehow trying to get the advantage over your opponent.
Classic has to be careful with his army out here, because no blink on these Stalkers, Kev. If they get grabbed by all these Marauders, that is lights out for Classic. He is absolutely balancing on a tightrope here with how he's playing.
Yeah, but he kind of needs to be somewhat aggressive, because if he's just at home and Cure makes his way to the other side of the map, then he's just going to be in all sorts of trouble, because Cure's army is going to scale better. So Classic is just going to try to make this game as awkward as possible and slowly but steady get a few more probes and try to create some sort of an advantage for himself in the game where so many things have gone wrong. And if you just trade out some units, that's okay. Keeping the army small is going to favor the Protoss. The larger the armies currently get, with turret tech that we're working with, the more it will favor the Terran, especially if Classic does not pull away his probes. He loses 7 of them against a couple of Widow.
Look how Classic is setting up this flank here. I love those Zealots in the south, unless he's going to go across the map with them.
The Widow Mines are a problem, though. We're going to land an anti-armor missile. Doesn't really connect with a lot of units. Shield battery overcharge gets activated as well. Cure's going to bring in extra units, but so is Classic. What are these Widow Mines firing at? A little bit of everything. The Marauder count is still high. We have a few Widow Mines. Classic does a very good job in trying to deny big shots, but the Zealot count is simply not there. He's still down in army supply, and he needs to run back to those static defenses.
I mean, he's got no tech with this army, does he? I mean, he's battling with better upgrades, but these Zealots just aren't doing it, and that's almost a pure Marauder army at this point. These Widow Mines have been absolutely crucial in this situation. Ghost joining the field as well.
One Colossus is out. Now though, Widowmine's Burrow once more. Get big shots up on the Zealots. That's pretty much all the Zealots. Now the Warp Prism is going to show up and it's going to give double blink. We're going to warp in a couple of Zealots in the middle of this fight as well. That's a crazy forward blink if you ask me. He's going to try to gun down some of these medevacs. Keeping the Colossus alive is very important here. Gets 2 medevacs so far. Wants to get one more. What a hold by Classic. These guys really want to be nominated for Defense of the Day. But one thing that he needs to keep in mind, Benjamin, is that there are 18 Marauders. And if 18 Marauders can flank an army that's that Stalker Colossus heavy, Classic is still going to have a tough time.
He's doing a good job of bouncing from side to side, though, with the correct amount of units here. And he's chasing this army, but Cure, he's not taking this fight without doing something else very important. And he goes in the north with a massive squad of Marines over here.
Classic could have maybe gone for a recall, does not want to do it. He's going to let this Nexus die. Those Widow Mines are not revealed. Classic at this point seems to be a little bit indecisive, right? Maybe just wants to clean up these mines. He should see it. Yes, he does see it as one observer is going to make his way over. Did lose the 4th Nexus though, so great pick up there by Cure.
A really good pick off. He's keeping himself in this game by just limiting Classic onto 4 bases. Now DTs are on the field, and this is where the Terran reaches a stage of the game that no Terran enjoys playing. But Cure, oh my goodness, he is just everywhere on the map. He's so good at navigating across without Classic knowing where he is.
Well, what goes for Classic, what goes for Cure goes for Classic as well, right? Because Classic is also here. He's going to get on top of this little army. Can the Stalkers gun down one of those medevacs? The answer to the question is no, but he will get a lot of SCVs. Might be able to get the Orbital here if the Stalkers go for it. Both Purification, no, but does not quite connect. Cure is still trying to fight here on the other side of the map, but he's fighting in the Protoss natural. There are going to be a lot of reinforcements, but I don't see a shield battery. A couple Zealots get walked in. One Colossus dies, 2nd Colossus dies as well. The drop has shown up in the main base. All hell has officially broken loose here on Ancient.
But how many Zealots are in this natural right now with a good bunch of Disruptors joining them, but so many firing units at the top of this ramp. That was a lot of Zealots to fall over there. Colossus just gets away and he's going to recall to deal with this drop in his...
The 3rd base, I think.
Oh, wow. I mean, I don't know what was happening over there. Maybe it was just the only base with energy, but maybe he wanted his units elsewhere. But right now, look at the supplies again, Kev. If Todd's here, he's like, look at that. How is it so close between these guys?
Yeah, but Classic does still have a lot more workers. He's going to be able to gun down a few of these medevacs as well. And we can't forget about the upgrades. It's 3-1 versus 1-2. Yes, I said that correctly. I know it sounds very weird. And +2 armor is on the way as well.
The thing is, even though he might think that time is on his side, we see from the work account that it's absolutely not. Every second that Classic stays alive here, I think it's a good second for him, especially with the value of his army. These upgrades also will just pay off the bigger the armies get.
The upgrades are absolutely the biggest problem. I wouldn't even hate an Immortor or 2 at this point for Classic, because he has a great army. He just needs to make sure there is no opening for Cure to stim those Marauders forward and get on top of his expensive robo units when a couple of EMPs go off. And the one unit that can really prevent that, besides the Disruptor just firing Novas for days, I would say it's a few Immortals in the mix.
Yeah, I mean, Cure has really neglected upgrades this game and gone for the wrong one, seemingly. Like, if he started +2 a few minutes ago, he would be catching up. And, I mean, being that far behind in upgrades continuously with this army, it's scary. Now he's starting to rebuild the workers, but now it feels like Classic feels like he can go across the map.
One thing I would also love, though, from Classic is a few more Colossus. He only has 1, but if you have great upgrades, if you have a massive upgrade advantage, Colossus are fantastic units. The Disruptors, they don't really care about your upgrade advantage.
No, they don't, but Classic does not care about Cure's anything right now. He is moving into his face. A bunch of Disruptors do kill some of these blink-forwarding Stalkers, but oh my goodness, there is blood and guts absolutely everywhere. Cure is on the other side of the map as well, going to wreak some havoc on this side of things, but Classic is definitely getting an edge in this game further and further.
It's chaos across the board. Cure says the last time we found ourselves in this situation, it went pretty good for me. I don't know if it's going to go that well this time around. Classic has also saved way more probes than he did in that very first game. Cure has already taken out 2 bases, though. Don't think he knows about that base in the bottom right side, and that could become an issue. This is where Classic can just fire a whole bunch of Purification Novas on those SCVs, on the Planetary Fortress. I love what Cure is doing there, microing the SCVs, trying to keep this PF alive for as long as possible, but his army is still going to be a little bit too late. It seems like the Colossus is taking a lot of damage, and that Colossus will fall. And Classic is actually down in army supply. He needs to be careful. He goes for a somewhat weird recall where he only saves a couple of them, and if I was able to fire that Nova immediately, it seems like it was still on cooldown. It could fire now, but that one will obviously never go off. Cure does about as good there as he was ever supposed to do.
8 disruptors on the field. I mean, there's things going through these guys' head right now. Classic is just hoping not a repeat of game 1, please. Not a repeat of game 1. But the economic situation he's found himself in, right now he's literally not mining at all. Now these probes are joining that bottom right base. That is his lifeline in this game, because Cure right now, every second that goes by is working against him.
Cure has done it very quick, by the way, floating over that orbital. So Cure is mining, and I still think it's a mistake by Classic if you have an upgrade advantage that's this severe, right? The man is literally 2 upgrades ahead. That's everything. He's making more disruptors. It feels that a few Colossus, they would benefit so much from these upgrades. Even Immortals would really benefit from these upgrades. With the disruptors, it really does not make much of a difference.
No, it doesn't. And right now, these disruptors could get flanked somewhat, but big shots going down. Lots of disruptors are still alive for Classic, but Cure, he smells blood. He needs to go right now. Beautiful splits out of Cure here, but the disruptors, they just do not run out of juice here. The Stalkers are left to fight the line here, holding for these disruptors to get their shots back online. Is Cure making it happen here? I don't know, but he's making the most out of a terrible situation.
Classic has 1,000 minerals in the bank, though. Imagine 10 Zealots. That would be pretty useful. It seems like he wiped in a few more Stalkers. Cure knows about his all-important mining base in the bottom right side. It seems that Classic has given up on it. Classic feels that he cannot save this base. Is he going to try to recall the probes out? Does he have energy for a recall? Is recall available? Recall is not available yet, and that is a lot of probes. That is the vast majority of his probes. And Classic says, all right, if you get my bottom right base, there's only one thing I can do, and that's get on top of your orbital. But Cure knows it, and Cure has already evacuated the location.
Cure was so quick to react there, knowing the kind of game that he's in, and yet again, and now 59 to 48 supply. That Protoss army is scary, but we did see how well Cure can micro against it. 3 Ghosts with EMPs are available here, and they have been working wonders against this very brittle army here. Mate, he's got mules. He's got 3 mules to land here. That's actually quite a lot of income that he can get, and then he can muster quite a bit of an army. And I mean, he doesn't know what kind of situation Classic is. He just saw the army, and he's probably thinking, how many probes do you have left? He has just the same number as you right now, Cure. If you can keep on that side of the map, it's actually not terrible for you anymore.
It would be amazing if Classic can just split off 2 or 3 Zealots. The armies are getting dangerously close to one another. Classic feels that he needs that War Prism here to micro. Cure is playing with a lot of urgency, getting an Observer pickup there is big. Landed an EMP, that Observer got revealed. I mean, Classic, even if his Nexus finishes up, his mining is going to be nowhere near the same. Like, it shouldn't be Cure on the side of the map of Classic. It needs to be Classic on the side of the map of Cure, because Cure at this point is cranking out additional Marauders and additional Marines with every single passing second. And I think the Classic has picked up on that. I don't know if he can defend that Nexus, but he needs to do something about the orbital. Otherwise, he will lose in the long run.
I mean, what's Classic doing down here? He's getting absolutely nothing down here. And right now, he's got 1 base left. If that gets killed and Cure starts floating his buildings, Kev, he actually has nothing to kill those floating buildings. Worst case scenario for Cure, he might force a draw.
Yeah, no, that's not totally true, yeah, because he has a main Nexus and he can still do long distance.
That's true. You're absolutely right. I got ahead of myself.
There yet. No, but that is a scenario that could absolutely come into play, Ben. But right now, what's a more important scenario for Classic is that he gets on top of that base, but because he ran over there and he's like, there's nothing here. He thought there was nothing here. Cure with the 200 IQ, very early evacuation. Classic obviously knows there's an orbital somewhere. He just doesn't know where.
Oh my goodness, Cure for the first time in a long time is ahead in supply in this game. 7 disruptors are still alive. Every unit counts. Look at the micro out of Cure here. But he can't use scans to see where this army is. He only has 1 orbital remaining.
All of this started, Cure had 10 Marauders or even less. Maybe it was 8 Marauders. We're at 17 Marauders now. I do really think that Cure has been able to mine enough with those mules to give himself a realistic chance of winning this game. He gets another important unit there. Classic knows that his army of the Terran is growing. He needs to do something about it. He sees an army, sends a very early Nova. It's not a bad one. Gets a couple of Marauders, gets a Ghost as well, sends a few Novas towards the left. So far, I like what Classic is doing, but is it good enough?
Oh my god, Cure, you are a magnificent beast. I think like maybe 2 or 3 units died to like 4 or 5 Novas there, and look at that. That is not a cool, calm man. And right now, look at the War Prism micro. He's trying to keep these disruptors alive, but he has to be so damn careful. 42 against 52 supply here. More disruptors are falling. More disruptors are firing, though. And again, can that Marauder get the last hit over there? Nice War Prism pickup by Classic.
We are down to the final 3 Disruptors. Classic is really on the clock and he knows it, but he also cannot fight if his Disruptors are not able to fire. He needs to land a big shot right here, right now, and Cure, he's obviously loving this. He says, sure, we are battling away from my one mining base. Tips forward one more time, does not get it. Classic displayed some great micro. Cure displayed fantastic micro, but I think the Terran has pretty much done it, man. He has avoided a very, very terrible scenario where he had to go up against a whole bunch of Disruptors with few units. He played a perfect ring around the rose. He circled around the map and he bought the time for himself that he needed.
What the heck am I even watching at this point, Gav? This is absolutely phenomenal StarCraft. This has been 26 minutes of pure action, and I've never known who was going to win, but Cure, the way that he's handled this last 10 minutes while being behind has been nothing short of absolutely phenomenal. Disruptors still not getting the shots that they require, not getting the shots they need, and now Classic, he is on the run. He has stopped this base from mining, but that Warp Prism looking fairly vulnerable over here.
There's not a lot of anti-air, there's only a couple of Marines. There is not a lot of anti-air to gun down this Prism. Classic is gonna try, obviously, till the final Disruptor has gone down because these armies are small enough that anything is still possible. But if the Warp Prism dies, it's all over, and that Warp Prism is very low HP.
7 health!
He could unload, but he doesn't want to unload.
Oh my god, Cure, what a man. I don't think anybody on the planet can say that any Terran should have got out of the situation that he got himself into this game. But Cure, he's freaking done it, man. I mean, these Disruptors, they have a lot of work to do here, but no unit will connect. No Disruptor will land on any of this bio.
At this point, I think Classic knows it as well, and Cure has to know it. Cure can embrace himself for a date with Solar in the semifinals here over at Gamers8 in Riyadh as another observer fell. Classic at this point, he's praying that he can land that magical Nova, but deep down inside he knows this game has slipped away, just like perhaps that first game of the series slipped away, and his hopes and dreams of winning this tournament have officially faded. He can land a Nova, blow up a couple of SCVs, but it simply doesn't really matter anymore. Cure has so many units and Classic has 0 income. This army, that's what it is, that's what it will always be, and that's simply not going to be enough.
No, and Cure is coming back to greet this army. I mean, these Stalkers will start trying to get away, but he has to work wonders with this Warp Prism, which, to be fair to him, he did save that Stalker, but oh, he's in such a rough spot here, and these Disruptors, they don't know where to shoot right now, but every second that's going on right now, Classic realizes that his dream and miracle run here, the players that he's taken down, Raynor, beyond Serral, but this man, Cure, is the man to stop this miracle run.
Classic deserves a standing ovation for his performance and his run over here at Gamers8, but the journey will end here and he knows it. GG gets called. Cure advances into the semifinals, and he is going to duke it out with Solar.